The 2000s have called and want their phone back. This is a small T9 sized phone that's surprisingly modern. Hey guys, it's me, Ole, and this is my first hands-on of the Sidephone. When I was in Vegas at CES in the beginning of this year, I met the founders of Sidephone and actually had a beer with them. And they gave me the phone to briefly try it, and it immediately grabbed my attention. So why would a dumb phone grab my attention, you may ask? Well, it was this. The Sidephone is transformable, so you can take out the normal number pad and actually replace it with something like this, which is called Sundial, and makes it look kind of like an iPod Nano. And my favorite one is this one, which looks like a T9 keyboard, but is actually a real QWERTY keyboard, and it mimics the functions that the BlackBerry Pearl had back in the day, and that is SureType. And that blew my mind on how well it worked, but let's get to that later on in the video. So this is the Sidephone, a phone that looks old but is actually pretty capable as it runs Android. A modern, simple smartphone, and from the outside it's pretty slick looking with its silver plastic housing. On the front it features a 2.8-inch display, which is actually pretty great. It's a touchscreen and it has great viewing angles in my opinion. Below that there's the swappable keyboard, as I just mentioned, but more on that later on. On the right side it has the volume rockers as well as a power button. On the other side there's nothing but a nano SIM card tray. On the bottom it has a USB-C port and a microphone, and the USB-C port powers the 1800 mAh battery, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is quite capable, and with mild usage, which you always have with a phone like that because you just do calls and texting, you can get it to last for about 3 days easily, in my opinion. On the top it features a speaker, which is nothing that stands out. It's not pretty great, it's not very bad. I'd say it's a tad better than on the EcoMind 1. On the back you'll find a 12 megapixel camera and a flash, and I have to say the camera is also nothing great. I'd only use it if you really have no alternative camera to take a picture with. And what I noticed is that in the preview the pictures look a bit better than the actual pictures themselves. So maybe that's just a software thing, so here's that. And also on the front, what I forgot to mention is an ear speaker, and I have to say the ear speaker is very, very nice, and also call quality in general is very nice. People on the other end understood me very, very clearly. It's voice over LTE, but however, it does not have a proximity sensor or light sensor, so when you put it up to your ear, it does not turn off the display. I myself personally did not have any issues with accidentally pressing the mute or speaker buttons, but you have to keep it in mind. Maybe if your ears are formed in another way than mine, you might press some buttons there. So yeah, be careful. So when they created the Sidephone, they wanted to create a Sidephone, so a phone that you use aside from your main phone. And with that, they wanted to make it safe and a phone that keeps you away from distractions. But in my opinion, and probably in the opinion of the creators themselves, a lot of dumb phones have a big problem. While they might keep you away from distractions, you can't really do anything with them. And smartphones just have become crucial in our daily lives, like using banking apps, calling Ubers, using specific apps maybe for documents and all of that stuff. And a lot of dumb phones just cannot do that. So when they created the Sidephone, they wanted a phone that you could put your second SIM card in, carry to a festival, to an event. You don't need your full-size smartphone, and maybe when the event is finished, you can still call an Uber and get home. And this is what the Sidephone is, and that's what I love about the Sidephone. So talking about simplification, the software is also very, very simplified. And it's not just the launcher that is simplified, it's also the app selection. So the launcher is pretty basic. It just has a couple of apps installed, like the camera, contacts, and all of those things, and nothing more. And that is also because you don't find any Play Store app on this phone. Why? Because there are no Google services or Google Play services that are pre-installed on this phone. And also GMS services need phones to have a minimum of 4 inches of screen size, and the Sidephone just doesn't have that. While you can install apps from other app stores like the Aurora store, you might not be able to use all of the apps that need GMS certification. And that could be some apps like Android Auto, your banking apps, maybe some apps work, some apps don't. Or you might have some issues with receiving notifications from certain apps like Beeper, for example. But really in daily life, in my usage, I did not have any issue with that. The only issue I had was with the app Beeper, which is like a messaging hub for all of your apps that I like to use on my phones because I switch them quite regularly. I did not receive notifications there, but in general with my banking apps, no problem whatsoever. So it's more like trial and error. But speaking of apps, out of the box, as I said, it doesn't come with a lot of apps, but there is an app library installed on the phone that doesn't come with any apps out of the box. If you want to make some apps appear there that you can download, you need to scan different QR codes that they have on their website for different app packs. Why do they do that? It's kind of to create a little bit of friction, to make it like more of a hassle to download some apps, and also for you to maybe think about it more if you really want those apps on your phone. That could mean distractions, that could mean safety risks. And while I like this idea, I just need some apps that are basic essentials for me. And one of those apps, for example, is Spotify. So if you want to download those, there is an app store that I downloaded from the browser that is called Aurora Store. It's pretty much the Play Store, but without the Google services. So you can download all the apps from there and just install them on the phone. And that is no problem whatsoever. Also, what I did install was the Niagara launcher that I have installed on all my phones because I just love the simplified version of it, and it really suits this phone kind of nice. I have all my favorite apps on top, or if I want to search for an app, I just scroll down on the alphabet on the right. But talking about the party piece here, which is this keyboard in my opinion. It looks like a T9 keyboard, but it's actually a QWERTY keyboard. So what does that mean? You type on it just like you would type on a regular QWERTY keyboard on a BlackBerry or your computer, but it has limited buttons, which makes it easier to use on a small phone like that, because if you had all of the QWERTY buttons, it would just make it too cramped. And it kind of works pretty nicely because you press the buttons, of course, more than once if you want to type on it, but just type on it like on a regular QWERTY keyboard. And actually BlackBerry had that back in the day with the BlackBerry Pearl and its SureType system. So you just type there and the system automatically recognizes the words you want to type. They called it Jake type, and currently it only works in English, which is kind of sad because I'm German and I text a lot in German, so I cannot really use it. But of course, there's also the possibility to pull up a virtual keyboard and just use that. And even though the screen is kind of narrow, that kind of works nicely. What I did is I installed the Google keyboard. So I had voice to text, which is very, very useful on a small device like that. Also, Jake from Returning Retro mentioned that if you type very quickly on those keyboards, it might have a bit of problems keeping up and recognizing every word. I didn't have that issue yet, but keep that in mind if you type a lot on this keyboard. What I also really like about those keyboards, and also the just number pad that you can have, is that you have physical call, answer, call and go home buttons, which makes it so satisfying to answer calls or just hang up after a call and being sure that you really hung up on the person you talk to. And you have the same on your number keyboard. Also, feeling wise, these keyboards are very, very clicky. They feel nice, and it's just overall a very, very nice product design. And I just like the quality of it. Even though it's plastic, the way the screen is rounded at the edges, the way everything is put together, it does feel nice. The phone is kind of slippery though, so this is why they also sell those silicone cases where you can just slide your phone into, and that makes it a lot better. to handle in everyday life. And they also have this sundial keyboard, which makes it look kind of like an iPod or iPod Nano. However, this wheel is not actually a wheel, it just looks like a wheel. It's actually like a joystick, so you have up, down, left and right buttons, and also all of the corners around the wheel are clickable, as well as the middle one. And you can assign different functions to those keys. For example, to make the top right corner key to hang up on a call, make the top left one to answer a call, maybe launch different apps out of the box. The middle one is a play and pause button. Speaking of customization, with the app key mapper that you can also install from one of their app packs, you can actually map different functions to all of the keys and to all of the inserts, like the sundial, the number pad, the QWERTY keypad, and make it fully customized to your own needs. So what do I think about this phone after having used it for about a week? I really dig it. I really like it. And it's not just me, it's also people in the office, people I met that actually like the idea of having a small phone again. And I have to say, the nostalgia that comes with handling a phone like that, and it actually being kind of capable with connecting to your stereo in the car, to your AirPods, maybe opening a mail, and all of that stuff, listening to music, even though it doesn't have a 3.5mm headphone jack because they weren't able to fit it into this small device, it still is great. Handling it with one hand feels so nice. Having it as a phone calling feels so nice because it's so small. Having it in your pocket, you don't really notice it. And that's something that I've missed from modern day smartphones. And I just took that sometimes after work. I only used this phone, I have my second SIM card installed here, and left the office, left my home, went to go have dinner, met friends, and I really was more in the moment with them, because I find myself often when I come back with the car, just sitting in my car, scrolling through social media, or you know it, if you're having dinner with friends or lunch, oftentimes you're just talking about things that are on your smartphones. And I don't have that with this one because it just stays in my pocket and I just use it for calls and texts most of the time. So if you want a phone to detox a little, if you want a phone to have as a side phone when you don't want to carry your phone around, maybe when you go out jogging, doing sports and all of that stuff, this phone is awesome. But of course, it does have its limitations. The MediaTek 8766 processor, I think, isn't the fastest, of course. Typing, of course, isn't as easy as on a regular smartphone. Taking pictures and all of that stuff just isn't a super great experience. But I think that's what the phone is bizarrely about, to make it not perfect, to make it something that keeps you away from distractions. And I think they did a great job with it. And I love that it's just a small team, 2 friends of enthusiasts that created something they would love from a smartphone. And I think they did a great job. But of course, I need to use it more. I will use it more in the next couple of weeks. I'm going on holiday this week. I will try to carry this phone as much as possible to keep me away from this social media nonsense, from my mail, from my work, when I'm just trying to have a good holiday. So yeah, that's it for this video. This is my opinion about this Sidephone and my first hands-on. If you like this video, make sure you give the video a like. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to stay updated with the newest videos about niche smartphones, QWERTY smartphones, and now also phones like this. And also leave a comment in the comment section below on what you think about the Sidephone, if you would actually pick one up. This phone can be had for $299. They have a sale currently up on their website for I think $290 for the Founders Edition. So if you're planning on picking one up, be quick and order it from them. And also follow me on my social media channels. Instagram is growing like crazy, and actually my reel about this phone went a bit viral with I think 1.6 million views. But again, that's it for this video. I'll see you in my next one. Until then, bye.